Okay, I've put the module back in and the switches are back in, reconnected up. I had to double check the wiring. I found a couple of connections that had pulled off and I had to remake those. I'll be honest with you, I did check it before I've gone live on camera. Initially it wouldn't work. And I was thinking, oh, I've got short on one of those transistors or something. And that's when I found the connections weren't very good, so it's imperative you photograph them and imperative you check that they're correct. So now we're not using an external aerial, we're actually just using a piece of wire at the moment, just touch it in, but we have radio.
She's thinking.
A bit limited in current at the moment, to the current I'm running off the external power supply. That's working. It's not working particularly well, but it is working. Sounds like I've got a dirty tuning pot capacitor. This thing loose here still. Sounds like I've still got a loose connection somewhere. Could be dirty switches. I don't think this radio's worked in ages. Let's see if we can actually hear something. If we've got a bad connection on something. Okay, we've definitely got a loose connection here. So let me just turn this thing over so we can work out where this connection, dodgy connection is. Just go around just tapping all the wires in the module. And there's one here somewhere that sounds it. Following, messing around there. You see when I move the board. Zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on. If you just tap round with something like a pencil is always quite good. Just tap round with an insulated tool, try and find a loose wire. If it is a wire, it might be could be anything. It could be a broken track. As I say, these things are really vulnerable with tracks. It could be a dirty switch. Doesn't seem to be a loose wire actually. I did double check the wiring. It all looked fine. So let's give the switches a bit of a working. Let's just pop the caps back on the switches so we can actually work them properly. We're only interested on FM at the moment, really. It sounds like it could be the switch actually. Yeah, so I think the switches are dirty. Yeah, I think that was all it was.
That as an achievement.
First, this excludes Gibraltar from the general negotiation between the UK and the EU.
Well,
it will allow Spain to have a direct negotiation with the UK.
I'm impressed with that.
Second,
It's
it
bloody
requires
sensitive. It seems to work really well. So that's basically with just me holding the wire for the aerial. That seems to be working well. So I think the thing to do now is put the knobs back on it, and then I will do I won't do an alignment on it. I'll just check to see how far the discriminator's off by audio, and what I'll do is to do that, there's a couple of ways you can do it which are pretty accurate on a radio like this, and that is to inject a 10.7 megahertz signal and tune with an AM modulation and see how well it rejects the AM signal. I'm not going to start tinkering around with the IF module. It sounds like it's pretty sensitive to me, but we'll just do a few checks. Then obviously we've got to make sure the long wave and medium wave work, and then we can sort of start to wrap this thing up, I think. Okay, the FM clearly seems to work very well indeed.
And the number of people turning to crime.
So I'm pleased with the FM. Unfortunately the long wave, medium wave and short wave doesn't work. You can hear the tone being generated by the signal generator. So the IF amplifier looks like it's working to a fashion. The frequency is a little bit off, but it's around 485. That's not the end of the world. I'm not too worried, but the thing's totally dead. So more than likely the local oscillator's not running. Now the local oscillator is in, I think, this other module here. You can't see this module here, and that's another fun and games trying to get that work to work. So I think the first thing to do is try and just check a couple of voltages and just make sure, double check our connections back up to that main IF module here. And then we can see anything obviously wrong, maybe a shorted wire, a solder bridge or something. Because it's strange that none of it's working. It's either the oscillator's not working, or there's a short from the up to the mixer stage sort of thing. So let's go and have a look, see if we can try and work out why we're not getting anything before the front end of the IF. Okay, it's a partly successful repair. I need to speak to the customer, because he did actually say he only wanted it working on VHF, and unfortunately that's all it's doing. I can't get any oscillation on the oscillator on long wave or medium wave, nothing at all. And the oscillator coil is actually inside that module we've just had apart. So I'm not sure if it's one of those transistors isn't quite the right match, but I just can't get anything out of the medium wave. It is, however, the VHF seems to be working really nicely, because we haven't even got the aerial up.
And yet it's so wildly off-piste that you never know where it's going. It's playing game.
Yeah, it's the noise from the camera, but... Okay, so yeah, radio's working quite nicely. The local oscillator is running slightly off frequency. I'm going to try and tweak that now, and that's on the other module. I just need to see if I can get access to it and try and bring it in a bit further. Radio 4 should be 93.5. It's not bad, actually.
I think it is about the violence.
Okay, it's not that bad.
That great myth of America and how
it should be about there.
I
I'm
really
not even sure I'm going to bother with that. I might just try and bring it in slightly, but you can see the mark is here. It's 94, 93.5. It's only very slightly out, so not bad at all, actually. So let's have a quick look at that, so I can adjust that.